The countdown to midnight began, but for the team at Fire Station 15 in Manhattan, the new year was already delivering chaos. Dispatch to all units. Fire reported at the Times Square countdown tower, crackled the radio, cutting through the festive chatter in the station. Captain Ryan Hart grabbed his helmet, his face grim. The tower? During the ball drop? Rookie firefighter Kyle asked, his voice tinged with disbelief. Ryan's reply was curt. Let's move. Thousands of lives are on the line. The truck roared to life, red lights slicing through the night. The streets of New York City were a blur of celebration and congestion. Times Square, already a logistical nightmare on any given day, was now packed with over 1 million revelers awaiting the iconic descent of the New Year's ball. Inside the truck, the team reviewed the initial report. A pyrotechnic malfunction had sparked a fire near the base of the countdown tower. What began as a small blaze was now threatening to engulf the entire structure, which housed essential electrical systems controlling the event. A catastrophic failure could cause chaos, plunging the square into darkness and potentially endangering lives. As the truck approached Times Square, the scale of the challenge became apparent. Barricades, packed crowds, and security checkpoints made access nearly impossible. We'll have to carry everything in, Ryan said, his tone sharp. Gear up and stay focused. No mistakes. Sir, Kyle asked hesitantly, what if the structure collapses? Ryan's gaze didn't waver. Then we'll do what we always do. Save as many lives as we can. The team disembarked, dragging heavy equipment through a maze of humanity. Cheers and laughter surrounded them, oblivious to the danger looming overhead. The glow of fireworks reflected off the smoke rising from the base of the tower. For Captain Hart and his crew, the clock wasn't counting down to celebration, it was counting down to disaster. The air around Times Square was electric with anticipation, but for the firefighters weaving through the jubilant crowd, it felt like a suffocating storm. As they pushed their way toward the countdown tower, Ryan Hart couldn't help but notice the irony. Thousands of people celebrated mere feet from a potential disaster. Move! Fire department coming through! He shouted, his voice cutting through the sea of laughter and cheers. Behind him, Kyle and veterans Sarah Morales and Jake Turner struggled with hoses, extinguishers, and axes, their expressions tense but resolute. When they reached the base of the tower, the severity of the situation became clear. Flames licked up the scaffolding, their orange tongues greedily consuming cables and equipment. Sparks rained down, hissing against the snow-covered pavement. The pyrotechnics platform had collapsed into the blaze, intensifying the inferno. Above them, the glowing New Year's ball seemed precariously close to the rising smoke. Ryan turned to Sarah. Get a suppression line on the east side. Jake, assess the structural integrity. Kyle, you're with me. We're heading inside to cut power to the damaged systems. Kyle's stomach tightened. His first major fire, and it had to be in the heart of Manhattan, with the eyes of the world quite literally on him. But there was no time to hesitate. He followed Ryan as they forced open a service door at the tower's base, smoke pouring out like a living thing. Inside, the air was acrid and thick, each breath a battle. The heat clawed at their gear, and the glow of the fire illuminated a cramped maintenance corridor filled with conduits and control panels. Stay close, Ryan commanded, his voice steady, and watch for structural hazards. The tower's already taken a hit. Outside, Sarah and Jake worked to contain the flames. Sarah maneuvered the hose with precision, the powerful stream of water creating steam clouds as it collided with the fire. Jake, this isn't holding, she shouted over the roar of the blaze. Jake scanned the tower's base, his trained eyes catching the telltale signs of metal fatigue. Ryan, we've got buckling on the south supports, he warned over the radio. Understood. We'll work fast, Ryan replied. Deeper in the tower, Ryan and Kyle reached the main electrical panel. Sparks flew from overloaded circuits, and the temperature was climbing fast. Ryan moved with practiced efficiency, shutting down power to the compromised sections. But as Kyle turned to leave, a muffled boom shook the structure. What was that? He yelled, his voice cracking with fear. Ryan's expression hardened. One of the fireworks caches just went up. We're running out of time. Move! Back outside, the situation escalated. The crowd, oblivious to the danger, erupted into cheers as the 10-minute countdown to midnight began. Sarah glanced at the massive screens displaying the timer. "We're not going to make it," she muttered under her breath. Jake's voice was grim. "If the fire reaches the secondary fireworks, this whole area becomes a war zone." Sarah tightened her grip on the hose. "Then we'll stop it. We have to." Inside the tower, Ryan and Kyle raced against the clock. The fire raged above them, the creaking of metal growing louder. Ryan radioed out, "Command, we've cut power, but this structure isn't going to hold much longer. Evacuate the immediate area now." The seconds ticked by, and the tension was palpable. Midnight was closing in, but for the firefighters of Station 15, the real countdown had already begun. The tower groaned under the weight of the flames and collapsed platform. Ryan and Kyle hurried through the narrow corridor, dodging debris and choking on smoke. Every step was a race against time. "Kyle, keep your head down. The structure's compromised," Ryan ordered, his voice sharp. Kyle gripped his axe tightly. "What if it goes down before we're out?" he asked, his voice filled with fear. "It won't," Ryan replied without looking back. "Not if we move fast." Outside, the chaos intensified. Sarah and Jake had slowed the fire on the east side, but the west scaffolding was fully engulfed. The crowd, noticing the smoke, began to panic. Event organizers tried to calm them, but fear spread quickly. Jake slammed his axe into the scaffolding, trying to contain the fire. "Sarah, we're barely holding this. That secondary fireworks cache could blow any minute." Sarah's jaw tightened. "Ryan, we need you out of there now. We can't hold much longer." Inside the tower, Ryan and Kyle reached the base of the stairwell, only to be stopped by a wall of fire. The flames consumed everything in their path. "Now what?" Kyle muttered, panic in his voice. Ryan scanned the room, then spotted an emergency ladder bolted to the wall. "We go up," he said firmly. Kyle stared at him, stunned. "Up? Toward the fire?" "Don't freeze, Kyle. We go up. Find another way out. Understood?" Kyle swallowed hard. "Understood." They climbed the ladder, the heat growing intense with each step. When they reached the next level, Ryan kicked open a hatch, revealing a catwalk suspended high above the ground. "This is our path," Ryan said, pulling himself onto the catwalk and offering a hand to Kyle. As Kyle climbed through, another explosion rocked the tower. The catwalk swayed violently, and Kyle lost his footing, slipping toward the edge. "Hold on!" Ryan shouted, grabbing Kyle's arm just in time. "Don't let go!" Kyle yelled, terrified. "I won't!" Ryan grunted, pulling him back to safety. Kyle gasped for air. "Thanks. Not on my watch," Ryan said. "Now let's move." Outside, the crowd began the 5-minute countdown to midnight. Sarah, sweat beading on her brow, glanced between the flames and the timer. 5 minutes, she muttered. "We have to hold this line." Jake's voice crackled through the radio. "Ryan, are you out?" "Not yet. We're on the catwalk," Ryan responded. "Stay sharp. This isn't over." The fireworks tower loomed against the New Year's Eve sky, flames threatening to bring it crashing down. Ryan and Kyle stood on the swaying catwalk, heat from the fire scorching their boots, smoke stinging their eyes. "Ryan, I see an access ladder," Kyle shouted over the roar of the flames. "That's our ticket out," Ryan replied. "Stay close and don't look down." Below, Sarah and Jake were battling a secondary fireworks cache dangerously close to the fire. The crowd's countdown to midnight only increased the pressure. 4 minutes, Sarah muttered, eyes on the clock. She tightened her grip on the hose, aiming it at the fire creeping toward the cache. "Careful!" Ryan shouted as a section of railing gave way, plummeting into the flames below. The ladder was within reach when another explosion rocked the structure, sending a fireball into the sky. The catwalk shuddered, throwing them to the ground. "The ladder's gone!" Kyle yelled as the explosion dislodged it. "It's still our best shot!" Ryan shouted, crawling toward the ladder. Below, Sarah and Jake fought back the fire. "Ryan, 2 minutes!" Sarah called over the radio, her voice strained. Ryan and Kyle reached the ladder, flames licking at their heels. Ryan steadied it while Kyle climbed, the metal burning under his hands. As Kyle neared the top, the catwalk beneath Ryan gave a terrifying screech and began to collapse. Without thinking, Ryan leaped for the ladder, grabbing it just as the catwalk fell away into the inferno. Outside, the countdown hit 1 minute. The crowd cheered, unaware of the danger above. "Almost there!" Kyle called, pulling himself to safety and reaching down to help Ryan. Ryan grabbed his hand, and with a final effort, Kyle pulled him up. They collapsed, gasping for air. 15 seconds, Jake's voice crackled over the radio. "We're clear," Ryan responded. As midnight struck, the sky erupted with fireworks from a safe distance. The crowd celebrated, oblivious to the danger they had narrowly escaped. For the firefighters, the real celebration was their victory against chaos. The air was thick with tension as midnight fireworks lit up the sky, masking the destruction beneath the collapsing tower. Despite the crowd's applause, the firefighters knew their real work wasn't over. Sarah and Jake kept their hoses trained on a secondary fireworks cache, ensuring the flames were fully extinguished. Jake's voice was hoarse. "We've held the line. Cache is secure." Sarah nodded, still vigilant. "Keep an eye on it until structural gives the all clear." Above, Ryan and Kyle caught their breath, leaning against a building rooftop. Ryan wiped soot from his face, exhaustion settling in. "Remind me to skip the next tower fire?" Kyle joked weakly. Ryan chuckled. "Next time we're bringing marshmallows." On the ground, the rescue teams worked quickly to account for bystanders. Captain Ryan Hart's calm voice cut through the radio chatter. "Sarah, Jake, report status." "We're clear," Sarah replied. "Tower's unstable, but the ladder got us out. East side fire's contained." "Copy that. Good work. Stand by for extraction." As Ryan and Kyle descended, the ground team dismantled their operation. The fire was out, but the area remained dangerous. Investigators sifted through debris, searching for the cause. "Hart," an inspector called, holding a scorched fuse. "Faulty wiring in the detonation system. Overloaded circuits. It was only a matter of time." Ryan nodded grimly. "Keep me updated." Paramedics checked on the team. Kyle winced as an EMT cleaned a burn. "It's just a scratch," he muttered. The EMT raised an eyebrow. "Let me do my job." Ryan chuckled. "Listen to her, Kyle. You're no use to us if you can't hold a hose." Sarah and Jake joined them, weary but satisfied. Sarah handed Ryan water. "Heard you had a nice view." Ryan smirked. "Best seat in the house. Though next time, I'd prefer the fireworks to stay on the ground." They shared a laugh, the camaraderie easing the weight of the night. Despite the chaos, they had done what they set out to do: save lives and protect the community. As they packed up, Ryan addressed the team. "What we did tonight wasn't just fighting a fire, it was protecting people and working together. I'm proud of you. Let's head back." The trucks rolled out, the team's exhaustion matched only by their quiet pride. The new year began not with fanfare, but with the resilience of those who faced chaos and emerged victorious. The firehouse was quiet, except for the hum of the heater and the soft drift of snow outside the windows, bathed in the golden glow of dawn. The team returned, exhausted but alive, their gear stained with soot, and their spirits weighed down by the night's events. Captain Ryan Hart stepped into the hall, his boots echoing on the concrete floor. He set his helmet down, scanning his team as they settled in. Kyle, the rookie, slouched on the couch, eyes half closed. Sarah hung her jacket and poured coffee. Jake leaned against the wall, staring out at the snowy street. Ryan cleared his throat, and the team gathered around him, sensing his presence. His voice was steady but carried a depth of emotion only they understood. "You all did damn good tonight," he said. "That was one of the toughest calls we've had in a while." Sarah raised her coffee in a mock toast. "And we didn't even get to see the ball drop," she said, breaking the tension. Kyle shifted, looking up at Ryan. "I thought I was going to freeze out there," he admitted. Ryan stepped closer. "You didn't freeze, you acted. When I called for that hose, you were there. You've got what it takes, Kyle. Trust it." Jake nodded. "Rookie or not, you pulled your weight. We all noticed." Kyle smiled faintly, his shoulders relaxing. "Thanks," he murmured. Ryan turned to Sarah and Jake. "Your experience, your calm. Sarah, your quick thinking saved lives tonight. Jake, I didn't have to worry about that family once you took charge." Jake nodded and Sarah shrugged. "Just another day on the job," she said. Ryan's expression softened. He pointed to the emblem on the wall. "Courage, commitment, community. Nights like tonight remind us why we're here. We don't just fight fires, we save lives, and we do it together. Sarah raised her mug. To the people we save and the people we work with. Jake and Kyle joined her. Ryan, with a rare smile, raised his own mug. To another year of standing together, he said. Their mugs clinked, a warmth spreading through the room that had nothing to do with the heater. Ryan lingered by the window, watching the snow-covered streets of New York. With his team by his side, he was ready for whatever challenges the new year would bring. Thanks for watching Brave Sparks. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and don't forget to subscribe. Your support helps us bring you more powerful and inspiring stories. Stay brave, and we'll see you in the next one.